This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Hello 313, hello Michigan, and welcome to another episode of Travel Basketball with Gus Weaver. I'm your host. This is episode number 14. I really thank you guys for listening. This is a program strictly dedicated to travel basketball around the state of Michigan. We do talk about other states, what those guys have going on, but for the most part it's centered around travel basketball, AAU style hoops. Right here in the Detroit area. We've had plenty of guests from all over the country, it seems like. Today, I think we have a great show lined up for you. One thing that this show has allowed me the opportunity to do is to grow an audience organically with good content. It's allowed me to speak with people, to meet new people, and I'm grateful for that. You can only hear this show on Detroit Sports Podcast Network. Once again, I'm your host, Gus Weaver. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy you guys tuning in. I enjoy my guest interviews, and it's just a good thing. It's something original because around here, nobody is dedicating time to travel basketball the way we do. The topics that we discuss, good and bad. And the people that I bring in to talk to you guys, from coaches to directors, parents, it's a lot of, I would say, inside information that you guys get by listening to this show. Once again, my background in terms of the youth basketball is I'm currently the director of the 313 Hot Boys, a fairly new organization on the scene, only been around for about a year. We have two teams currently, class of 2024 and class of 2025. And, that takes up a lot of my time, as well as, a lot of the parents. So, my objective with this goal is to give some shout outs, a little bit of exposure to those that are listening, to those that share this amongst social media. We like to talk to you. I like to inform you. A little bit from a different perspective in the world of travel basketball, because I'm around it so much. I know so many people involved. So we like to talk about some of the programs, some of the kids that aren't already in the limelight, but kids that definitely deserve a shout out. So, that's one of the reasons why I do this. That's one of the reasons why I bring in the guests that I do to interview. These people deserve some credit too, instead of just a handful of kids that everybody knows their name. And we talk about those guys too. We don't slight them. Anytime, I ask for you guys to send me shout outs. Any hot player that you may know, a hot team, if you're a coach and you're on a 10-game win streak or something and you want people to know, drop me a line. I'll discuss it on this show. I will give you a shout out. We've done that from episode 1. And I'll continue to do that. Today, I think we have a good show lined up for you as I look back at the Midwest Nationals in the Mitten Tournament. This is a tournament that we previewed last week. I gave you some of my predictions on this tournament, full of talent, full of big-name kids, big-name programs. So we will definitely, hit that in terms of a recap. We like to review the tournament that we highlighted last week. We'll also look ahead to this week's tournament. I think it's a pretty big tournament. It's junior high ages only. I do believe maybe 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade teams. But, some teams from right around here in the Detroit area, some heavy hitters. So we'll take a quick look at that Crown Me the King tournament, hosted by Building a Legacy 313. I'll also give you a little bit of info on a Facebook group, the only group around here that allows you to win hoodies throughout the NFL season. Name of this group is the 313 Life Who You Got Pick'em Challenge. Once again, it is a Facebook group. It's a Facebook contest. I'll give you some info on that a little bit later on. And we always get into the shout-out portion of the program, which I always tell you guys, no shame in my game. That's one of my favorite parts of the show. Because that's what I asked for. I asked you guys, hey, send me the info. Let me give you a shout out. As we move forward, let's take a look at the Midwest Nationals in the Mitten tournament. Took place last weekend, Dearborn Heights. I believe this was hosted by Hype Athletics. So let's get right into it. The third grade division, ages 9 and under. You had the Ohio Panthers come up to the 313 and do a little damage, taking out Team Hype in the championship game, 29-23. From what I hear, this Ohio Panthers third grade team has a pretty good guard. A lot of the times when we talk about, third and fourth grade play, it's usually the team with the better backcourt that wins those games. So once again, from what I hear, I didn't see this game personally, but from what I hear, because I got ears everywhere, Ohio Panthers got a pretty good guard down there. So I will look forward to checking these guys out. That's another thing. If someone calls me and say, hey, you got to check this kid out, he carried the team, or, whatever the case may be, that kid at that point then is on my radar, and I do want to see him play. And I look forward to seeing these kids play. When we go out of state, a lot of kids that I hear about but haven't seen with my own eyes, I really enjoy. So Ohio Panthers, 9U team, third graders, officially on my radar as they took out Team Hype in the championship game at that third grade level. So congratulations to those guys. On the fourth grade level, a familiar team from around this way and a familiar team from down in Toledo, you had the family taking out the Toledo Thunder 26-22 in a tight championship game. Once again, fantastic guard play by the family team. Toledo Thunder sent a few teams up here to this tournament at different age groups, and they fared pretty well, but they didn't win the championship in this one per se at the fourth grade level. Congratulations to the family. We always talk about the nuts and bolts, so to speak, programs of AAU/travel basketball right here in Michigan, and family is definitely one of those organizations where they have established alumni. They've been around forever. They got the not endorsement deals, but the Nike stuff, the Adidas stuff. These programs, this is what you get when you play for a program such as the family. We've talked about plenty of them. So congratulations to the family on winning the fourth grade tournament right there in Dearborn Heights. As we look at the fifth graders, 11 and under, a familiar team that we've been talking about a lot recently, just jumped on the scene not too long ago, but all they do is win. Another championship for the Detroit Gladiators fifth grade team, taking out the Toledo Thunder 30-25 in the championship in this one. Now, I mentioned we've been talking a lot about the Gladiators on this show. And the reason we've been talking a lot about the Gladiators is these guys keep winning tournaments. They knocked off my very own Hot Boys in the overtime championship, and that was kind of the first time that we had our go at them. So, some of these games are tight that the Detroit Gladiators are pulling off in the championship. And, what that says is they're well coached. Chemistry is good, and they don't beat themselves. Anytime you win in tight games and championships, believe me, you're probably knocking down free throws and everything you need to do to win. Congratulations, Detroit Gladiators, fifth grade boys. Sixth grade, Michigan Majors 45 and the Grizzlies 25 in the championship game. Blowout. Anytime you 20-piece somebody in the championship game, it doesn't look right. So this sixth grade division was stacked with good teams. I'm not sure why this happened in the championship game, big time blowout. Either way, congratulations to Michigan Majors. A lot of time when we talk about the majors, here's the bottom line. We have talked about the majors. And like I said, when we cover these tournaments, when we do the recap, if you didn't at least make the Final Four, chances are we aren't talking about you, because there's plenty of talk to go around. So sometimes we talk about Final Four, sometimes we only talk about the championship game. But we have talked about the Michigan Majors. this 6th grade team is doing damage. And proof is in the pudding as they knocked off the Grizzlies by 20 points in the championship game. Congratulations to those guys. I'm sure we'll see them down the road. As we look at 7th grade, 13 and under, familiar team once again in the championship. Reach with a tight 1-point victory over another Toledo Thunder team. Final score in this one, 45-44. This is three. Let me repeat myself. This is 3 Toledo Thunder teams that came up here, and they all made the championship game, yet they all failed to bring one home. This one a very tight game, but as we've talked about before, Reach is loaded with talent. They're well coached. They've been around forever. They one of the nut and bolt programs, just like the family. When you're dealing with a team like Reach, so for Toledo Thunder to come up here and send 3 teams to championships. Hats off to those guys. It's only a matter of time before they start winning those games. On the flip side, congratulations to a very talented 7th grade Reach team on the championship here. The 8th and 9th graders in this tournament combined. So here's the thing. You got a 7th grade Bates Fundamentals team playing up in the 8th and 9th grade division, and they knocked off Flint Dynasty. I do not have the final score of that championship game of Bates beating Flint Dynasty, but I will tell you this: they played each other in pool play, and Bates Fundamentals beat them 52-20. So you can only imagine what the championship score was like. Hopefully for Flint Dynasty, it was a little closer than that first one, but anytime you get hit by 32 points, chances are you're not going to beat that team if you run across them again in the same tournament. Congratulations to Bates Fundamentals, the 7th grade team, making noise playing up in the 8th and 9th grade division. The oldest division in this tournament was a varsity 17U, and Downriver Bad Boys ran this division. All Downriver Bad Boys championship game, the 16U team versus the 17U team, and I do believe this is the second time we've talked about an all Bad Boys final, and the 16 and under group has beaten the 17 and under group, which a lot of time that's not what you expect, but both of these teams are very talented, and the younger boys had their number in this one. Final score 45-38. Big time congratulations to the Downriver Bad Boys. We've talked about them previously on this show. I've tagged them in a few of my posts on social media, and they really enjoy the program. So congratulations to those guys, making it an all Downriver Bad Boys championship in the Midwest Nationals in the Mitten. And that's a quick recap. This is, once again, a tournament we highlighted last week, loaded with talent. So there's your recap. Before I move forward, I just want to say my experience. Anytime you get a team that's playing up, sometimes they take lumps early, playing against older competition. And that'll happen. That's natural. But the more a team plays up against stiffer competition, it really helps. Eventually you do start winning some of those games, and it especially helps when you go to these big time tournaments that's age specific or grade specific, and you play at your own level, so to speak, from age or grade. So like Bates Fundamentals 7th graders playing up in the 8th and 9th division and running away with it. Big time props to them. Some of these teams that we talk about, like family, they play up a lot. Reach plays up a lot. My 2025 Hot Boys, they're going to start playing up a lot. So just congratulations to the players and the teams that's doing that, because it's big and it does pay off in the end. I want to talk to you guys about a tournament this weekend being held in Southfield, Michigan, hosted by Building a Legacy 313. A personal friend of mine, Chuck Bailey, is running that. A 2-day tournament this weekend. Crown Me the King is the name of this tournament. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade divisions. Okay, so I know at one time Chuck was talking about making this a middle school only, but obviously he has expanded, including the 4th and 5th grade divisions. So, let's take a look at this. 3 teams in the 4th grade division, all in one. The family, and family has a second team in here. Coach Sam has one, and Coach Prince has one. And the all-in-one fourth grade team here is going to have their hands full because any game they play will be against the family. You guys know how tough the family is, especially at this fourth grade level. They're coming off a tournament championship, which we just spoke about, where they defeated a tough Toledo Thunder team. So, right here, this should be a good chance for the family to make this an all-family championship game, like the Downriver Bad Boys did last weekend. So, either way, I'm really looking at Sam's team to come away with this fourth grade title as they get down in Southfield, Michigan this weekend. Fifth grade division in this tournament, I would say, is probably the best in terms of competition level. So you get fifth grade division, you got Ballers Elite, Building a Legacy, Detroit Gladiators, Michigan Playmakers, Sticks Village, and the family. Now you look here and you got two heavy hitters right off the bat. You see the Michigan Playmakers. Right off the bat, you see the family. And then you look at a squad like Ballers Elite, who are out of the Port Huron area, and they've been doing nothing but making noise. Their fifth grade team and their sixth grade team. So I'm very interested to see what Chuck Bailey has up his sleeve with putting a fifth grade Building a Legacy team in here. So we'll see what those guys are all about. And the one team that I haven't even mentioned yet really in this division is the team that won the tournament championship last week, and that's the Detroit Gladiators. Once again, the team we talk a lot about. These guys are balling every weekend, and they're winning their fair share of tournaments. So to throw them in there with the family, the Playmakers, Ballers Elite, Building a Legacy, this should be very interesting. If I had to pick, I would have to go with Detroit Gladiators to at least make it to the championship game, and maybe the family. Family is loaded with guards, a couple of athletic wings. So I'm looking at maybe the Gladiators out of the D and the family, to make it to this championship game. Should be a good one at the fifth grade level for this one. I'm excited to see how it turns out. As we get into the sixth grade, like I said, my hot boys, the fifth graders, will start to play up more and more often, and this will be their first opportunity to do so. So what we did is kind of made a half and half team of, 3, 4, maybe sixth grade kids, and the rest are all kids playing up. So a very young team that I'm entering into the sixth grade division, filled mostly with fifth graders, and that will be my 313 Hot Boys. Another team in this one, Michigan Majors, Mid MWA Elite, and Team 248. Couple of teams right off the bat. Michigan Majors, we just talked about those guys. Won a tournament last weekend. So, 3 of those teams already I've talked about. 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. All of these teams are reigning champions, looking to continue that. Another team, MWA, in my opinion, the best class of 2024 team in the state of Michigan. These guys are tough in the backcourt. They got an awesome big and very well coached. And, another organization that's been around for a minute, and they do things the right way. And glad to, be part of the Michigan travel basketball scene because they've got quite the program there. So this one should be interesting to see how the young hot boys fare against quality competition like the Michigan Majors, like MWA. I know we tip off at 12 noon on Saturday with the Michigan Majors. 3 p.m. that same day, my young hot boys will face MWA, my opinion, best 2024 team in the state of Michigan. 7th grade, a little bit different here. I'm interested to see how the go mode team looks. I do believe this is kind of like a holdover from Daryl Hudson's Hudson Elite team. Now they're go mode. You also have the Michigan Majors. You got the Cubs and Team 248. Like I said, all eyes for me will be on go mode because if this is the team I think it is, I know about a handful of their players personally. I've covered them before. I see them play all the time, so very interested to see how they do in Southfield, Michigan. 8th grade division is a couple of teams in here that I know nothing about. I'm looking at Building a Legacy to obviously win this thing. They're the host team, and these other teams, I just don't know who they are. Team CTM, Spotlight, and Thunder. I have no idea, who these teams are. Now, I will know because they're in the tournament that I'm covering. And, that's one of the things I say. Like, we talk about brand new programs. We talk about smaller programs. Every program that we talk about, sometimes they're not out there winning championships, but they're competing. So, that's how you get mentioned. You compete. You make it to a Final Four. You come out of nowhere. Somebody's got to make this championship game. Let's say building a legacy makes the championship game. Well, one of these other teams has to be the other team in that game. So it's a chance for them to get pub. Hey, show up, show out, do your best. And next week, possibly talking about them guys in terms of hoisting the trophy at the Crown Me the King tournament, this weekend in Southfield, Michigan. That's a quick preview of that one. Once again, very loaded with with crazy talent, crazy teams. Chuck Bailey, a veteran in the game, is throwing it, so I wouldn't expect anything less. Very excited to see how Crown Me the King turns out. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to give you guys some info on my very own Facebook group, which has in turn, became a Facebook contest group. And the name of it is 313 Life, Who You Got, Pick'em Challenge. You can find us on Facebook. It's free to join. And what this group / contest allows participants to do, it gives people the opportunity to win up to 4 custom 313 Life hoodies throughout the NFL regular season. Like I said, free to get in, but you got to be in to win. And this is how it's run down. Every Sunday, I will put out 5 NFL games into the group, and all you have to do is pick winner or loser. No odds, no points, no underdog, none of that. Just pick who you think will win, who you think will lose. We do this for 4 consecutive weeks. I put 5 games out there every week, 4 consecutive weeks. After those 4 weeks, week number 1 through week number 4, we tally up the votes. Whoever has the most correct picks, they win a custom 313 Life hoodie of their choice. Color, obviously one of the designs that we already offer, but they get to fully customize the color, 2, 3 colors, whatever the case may be. And then they also get a chance to come onto my Facebook Live weekly video that we do and, talk about how tough it is to win these hoodies. It may sound easy, but it's not easy. In the past, we've had up to 35, 40 people in at one time. If the numbers get like that, we award hoodies to 2 people. Generally the average is right around 18 to 20 people competing in a given 4-week time span. So that's your info on how to get into this group. Please find us on Facebook. It's a Facebook contest. 313 Live, Who You Got, Pick'em Challenge. Get in there and win a custom hoodie. That brings us to the shout out portion. And, like I always tell you guys, this is one of my favorite times of the show. Right now, right off top, we got to shout out the Michigan Playmakers and their upcoming fall league. All games played in Livonia on Saturdays, 2 games a week. I think it goes for 6 weeks. There's a 10-game guarantee plus playoff. A good league, no matter the stature of your travel basketball team. This is a league that I would highly recommend. Last year, being a brand new club, the 313 Hot Boys got into this league. We did okay. Didn't quite meet my expectations as team director, but we're in again, hoping to finish a little bit better than we did last year. But that league also prepared us for travel ball season, in which we dominated. So that's why I say, no matter the stature of your team, we were a brand new squad in this league. So nothing to be ashamed of going here and not winning it all. Some great competition in the Playmakers League. Next league we need to mention, the MXP Fall League, be held in Saline, Michigan. From what I hear, very competitive league. They've been doing it for years now. It's something that I'm looking forward to, getting a different taste of teams, not the same teams that you see here in Detroit, but some of the Western teams, the Ann Arbor teams, the Jackson teams. So even Lansing teams come down for that. So MXP Fall League, held in Saline. I believe this starts second weekend in September. Still time to get in. But once again, from what I hear, no matter the stature, if you're a top-ranked program or a brand new team, not a bad league to join. And this one, I believe you get 16 games guaranteed. It goes for maybe 7 or 8 weeks plus playoffs. Check them out. MXP Fall League held in Saline. Next shout out. As I mentioned earlier, the 2025 Hot Boys playing up for the first time in the 6th grade division against some major competition. We wish them boys the best of luck this weekend in Southfield, Michigan. Third shout out goes to Wendell Green Jr. This kid recently transferred from Country Day to a prep school in Indiana. Major kudos to his dad, director of the Michigan Playmakers, for this decision and his son's progression. He's really growing into and has grown into already a fantastic basketball player. Tons of scouts looking at him all the time. So big props to Wendell Green and his son, Wendell Green Jr., on his transfer to a prep school in Indiana. Thank you guys for listening to episode 14. I'm your host, Gus Weaver, and you just listened to another show of Travel Basketball.